Alrighty, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. Today we are going to kind of wrap up the Milwaukee Brewers season as it went. Obviously not the ideal scenario for it, but it is what it is, and not everything goes the ideal way you want it to. So we'll start with that, and then we'll do our abbreviated Badgers football coverage, and then the crown jewel of today's show is our Badgers basketball primer. That is the very exciting thing that we are most looking forward to with today's show. So we're going to get going, and then we'll get to that stuff right after that.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so we talked already about games 1 and 2 last Wednesday because those happened on last Monday and Tuesday. So we've seen game 3 and 4. Basically, what I would say, obviously the Brewers swept, so I don't really feel the need to go super in depth with the games. I have more like season takeaway or series takeaway type stuff, and then we can kind of just wrap up the season as it is. But as far as game 3 goes for the Brewers, my main takeaway was just Jacob Mizorowski.
Yep.
Obviously, the Brewers started Ashby, didn't work out. We talked about it. You're emptying the tank. Nobody gets to be tired. Everybody is pitching as much as humanly possible without risking injury, and that's where we're at. And people were like, why didn't you just start Mizorowski right away? And we saw that happen. We saw Mizorowski start against the Dodgers, and Ohtani homered off of him to lead off the game.
Yep.
So the goal of opening with lefties and closers is that you don't have to face your opponent's best hitters one more time.
Yep.
So essentially you can face the 4 through 9 hitters to start and then see the rest of the lineup twice so that the best players you're not seeing as often. So give me your thoughts on that, and I will be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So I know everybody's going to see the final of this series and how the Brewers ended up losing. And yeah, they got swept, and people are going to talk about the Dodger dynasty that's kind of happening in front of our eyes. But the Brewers were really only a couple hits away from changing this series completely. Obviously, we saw game 1, how it happened. Brewers had a chance at the end, bottom of the ninth there. Game 2 was a close game. Game 3 was much of the same. Brewers are only able to muster up 4 hits total, 2 of them coming from Caleb Durbin. So another young guy that you're going to talk about is Caleb Durbin. He looked pretty good in the playoffs, got some big-time hits. He ended up scoring the only run for the Brewers. Jake Bauers ended up hitting him in. Durbin had his first career double and triple playoff career in this game, and Brewers went 1 for 7 runners in scoring position. So that's something that obviously will be talked about in the offseason. They have a guy at the end of their batting order, Joey Ortiz, who's going to need to take a big leap to make this lineup a little bit more complete. But a lot of young players have taken some big strides this season. And I'm not going to go out and say that Joey Ortiz can't be the next one next year to take a big stride, because obviously we've seen what happened. And I'm not saying it's going to happen with him, but we've seen the quantum leap that a guy named Bryce Terang has made since his first year in the majors to who he is now. He's got a good bat now. He's got a respectable bat where when he comes to the plate, people are like, oh, shit, okay, he can hit a little bit. And if Joey Ortiz turns into that guy, this lineup is really going to be dangerous. Again, I'm going to bring up Durbin again. He has been rock solid. He's played really good defense over there. He's a pit bull. He wants to play every single day, and he's given us some really good at-bats this year. So I liked what I saw. Obviously not the end result, but overall, they didn't give up. They could have packed their bags on game 3, honestly, after losing home field advantage. They could have packed their bags and went home. Now, I do want to note 2 things about pitching. One, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Mizorowski is the star of this game, especially. It was so good for Brewers Nation to be like, yes, we have this guy for the next 5 years. Wait, 5 years or 6 years? 5 years? I don't remember his contract, how many more years we have him. But we have him for the near future. And he looked good against the best lineup that I think I'll see in my entire lifetime, honestly. If somebody has a better lineup than the LA Dodgers right now in the next 5 years,
Something's broken. Baseball's just broken at that point.
But Mizorowski looked damn good. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. He was mowing them down at one point. But we got to talk about Abner Uribe. Just worry about the guy at home plate, man. What are we doing, dude? That was the point of the game where I was like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing, man? And that is where you can see experience and youth. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad. In the moment, you're allowed to be frustrated. You are. Because that's just human emotions, right? But if you're able to take a step back and digest it and think about things, clearly, you should be able to be like, okay, I understand. And for me, this is going to be a moment, where Pat Murphy talked about in game 1 where Terang's going to learn from his at-bat, I think this is another teachable moment for Uribe going into next year that he's going to learn from. He had a lot of big moments for us this year. He still has the best closer celebration I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm not mad at all. I'm glad they got the experience, and they will be back next year. Believe that. You're on mute, brother.
Alrighty. I just wanted to let you know that I was passing along my notes because I'm going to have to jump off when we got the Brewers wrapped up because I'm going to the Bucks game tonight. So
yes, you are. We got to cheer on another Milwaukee team now.
Yeah. And so, as far as it goes with the NLCS, people are berating Christian Yelich, and obviously, he deserves some criticism for being, now a Silver Slugger candidate, which is good for him for being really good in the regular season and unfortunately shrunk in the postseason. That's just the reality of it. But there is nobody except for Caleb Durbin who hit well in this series. Caleb Durbin batted .308. Nobody else batted higher than .222, which was Jake Bauers.
Yeah.
If Jake Bauers at .222 is your second best hitter, that's a tough spot to be in.
Yep.
And you look at the pitching that the Brewers ran into, it is Blake Snell, a 2-time Cy Young winner, Yoshimbu Yamamoto, a 2025 All-Star and a likely Cy Young candidate. He led Major League Baseball in hits per 9 innings this year. Not just the National League, Major League Baseball. Tyler Glasnow, a 2024 All-Star. And Shohei Ohtani, who finished 4th in Cy Young in 2022, has a career 3.00 ERA in 528 and 2/3 innings.
And he throws like 17 pitches, dude.
So those are the guys they ran into.
Yep.
And it sucks, but it's just like the top of their lineup. It's MVP, MVP, MVP.
Yep.
And then you go into their pitching rotation. They have Clayton Kershaw, a first ballot Hall of Famer, as an extra guy just chilling in the bullpen. Like that would be like the Brewers having Corbin Burns still, having their rotation be so good that Corbin Burns is just chilling out in the bullpen just in case you need him.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Clayton Kershaw is 37 and Corbin Burns is like 30. But think about it. Like, trying to think of a dominant pitcher that the Brewers had 5 years ago, like, that's still good.
Right.
But just chilling in your bullpen.
Yeah.
Just because you don't need him, because the rest of your pitching staff is that dominant.
That's just insane.
That's why I don't feel bad for the Dodgers when they have injuries. I feel bad for the players when they're injured, but I don't feel bad for the Dodgers because it's like, oh, sorry that you lost one of your all-stars, and now you just have a former Cy Young candidate to fill in for it.
They probably have like 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on their roster right now.
At least.
If you include the manager, because Dave Roberts will get in the Hall of Fame because he's gonna win a couple rings here with them. So,
and arguably the GOAT.
Yeah.
So aside from that, if you look at pitching for the Brewers, Priester and Mizorowski were great. Koenig was good in the pen, and other than that, the pitching struggled too, which is it's an unfortunate place to be. But if you look at the season as a whole, it's like when we talk about clutch plays happening and the results still not being what you wanted, doesn't take away from them being clutch plays. The Brewers being swept in the NLCS does not mean that we shouldn't have enjoyed anything that came before that,
Right.
including the regular season and beating the Cubs in the NLDS.
Mm-hmm.
First time ever, Brewers Cubs faced off in the playoffs, and Brewers came out on top in the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as the season as a whole goes, I mean, we have 4 guys who are going to finish in top 10 for Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Collins, Caleb Durbin, Chad Patrick, and Jacob Mizorowski are all going to be top 10 in Rookie of the Year. Guarantee it. I would go as far as to say 3 of them will probably be in the top 6.
I can see that, yes.
And honestly, all 4 of them could be in the top 7.
I can see it.
Wouldn't shock me at all. So, like I said, as far as the Brewers go, obviously not perfect. Like Steve said, still sad that the season over, but the season was a success. What do you guys think? I think they still won franchise record games.
Yep.
That's still true. And like I said, still beat the Cubs the first time they've ever faced them in the playoffs. They still beat them in the NLDS. So, I mean, Christian Yelich was back. He almost had a 30-100 season.
Mm-hmm.
He was 1 home run away from having a 30-home run, 100 RBI season.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like I said, not an ideal end, but it doesn't mean that the first 98% of this season wasn't enjoyable, shouldn't be happy about, like Steve said, the sad that the season's over, but it was still a success. I agree with that.
You want to know what's super funny to me? I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. You have more to say, but it's super funny that Cubs fans are sharing memes and graphics that say the Cubs have more playoff wins than the Brewers this year. Guess what? We didn't have to play in the first round. Guess what else? You don't have more wins against us in the playoffs because we beat you in the playoffs. That's kind of how that works. So I just think it's hilarious how they're saying that. I think it's funny that they hate on the Packers all year long and they say stuff like fuck Green Bay while they're at baseball games, but then they're going to say that the Cubs are rent-free in our head because we celebrated winning a playoff series over them. Oh, by the way, do you know the last playoff series that the Bucks won in the playoffs? Do you know who it was against? There's a theme here going on.
I'm assuming it's the Bulls, but
It's the Bulls. It's the Bulls. So there's no secret why they hate us. The Bucks beat the Bulls in the playoffs. The Brewers beat the Cubs in the playoffs. The Packers literally always beat the Bears.
I was going to say you can't say the Packers beat the Bears in the playoffs because the Bears are never there.
Exactly. But hey, the last time they played in the playoffs, who beat them?
That's
when
true.
they played in the playoffs, the Packers beat the Bears in the playoffs. So there's no secret why they hate us.
Yeah. And now
But
the
I
Blackhawks
just
suck,
find it
so they
funny.
can't even lord that over us either.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I don't know, man. They got some problems over there in Chicago, and they won 4 in a row, and they're feeling good. They're 4-2, and they're feeling good, right? And Packers fans are freaking out. We're 4-1-1. We're freaking out over here. We're like, dude, what is going on with our team? And Bears fans are like, holy crap, man, we're the best. We're 4-2. They're literally worse than us. Quite literally worse than us.
And they just barely beat a Saints team. That game ended up being closer than it should have. The Saints teams the Packers beat 30-0 last year.
The Saints are kind of interesting this year. I know we can go on a tangent here.
They're so uninteresting that they are interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think Rattler's as bad as people say. But yeah, again, we can go
I
on.
don't think so either. I actually said that to Cody that I think he's got potential.
Yeah, he does.
He needs weapons though. Okay. So I mean, is there anything else you want to say on the Brewers? I mean, they added another Peralta today. They added a Sammy Peralta, claimed him on the waivers from the Angels, was the last team he played for. He's pitched apparently 30 innings, I believe I saw, in Major League Baseball. So kind of another reclamation project that I'm sure they'll turn into a 7th-inning leverage bullpen arm. So we'll see. But, I mean, it's a situation where when March rolls around and you start hearing the pitchers and catchers are reporting and you hear the first couple hisses of some pitches being thrown down in Arizona, that we're going to be excited for the Brewers, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And said it already a couple times, the season ending the way it did doesn't mean that everything else enjoyable before that is no longer allowed to be enjoyed. Like I said, up to and including beating the Cubs in the playoffs. Because right now, the Cubs fans, they're still going to be like, yeah, but how did it go against the Dodgers? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Think you would have did any better?
But it's irrelevant. We'll never know because you couldn't beat the Brewers.
Exactly. I'll end on this note. Franchise record wins, multiple double-digit win streaks, winning the division again, getting the number 1 seed, all things that we thought were unimaginable this season. And on top of that, they're going to have sustained success because no matter what outlet you look at, they're a top 5 farm system. Some of them even have them at number 1. We have another guy, Jesus Mate, who's on the same trajectory as Jackson Chourio. The Brewers have potential if some of these guys paying out the way they're supposed to, like Chourio keeps going up and Contreras keeps staying consistent. They could have a really dominant batting lineup. Yeah. And the pitching is also going to be dominant. I mean, guys like Logan Henderson, who didn't make the playoff roster, he's only going to get better. Robert Gosser, hopefully from this experience, he'll get better. There's Arowski. I mean, there's a number of guys. I mean, there's so much stuff they can do. Hopefully they can lock down Peralta for like a 3-year deal is kind of what I'm hoping for. But, the Brewers, they're good now. They're going to be good for at least the next 5 years. So let's just enjoy the ride, people.
Yeah. And like you said, with them being a good farm system, also along with that, a bunch of Rookie of the Year candidates.
Yep. So, oh, yeah, dude. We're getting one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Mate, dude. Come on now.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to bring Mike in, and I'm going to bid adieu to you guys. Let you guys handle Badger football and Badger basketball. Jake's got my notes, and I trust you guys to be able to talk about all the additions and the departures and everybody. So
got it.
Read through my notes and have fun. And I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go to the Bucks game.
Hey man, go Bucks! And I swear to God, Tyler, I'm gonna say this: if you see one singular person not clapping for Chris Middleton tribute video, get their ass out of there.
I'm gonna wear my Chris Middleton finals jersey tonight.
Yeah, they can leave.
And I'm gonna have a travel thing of tissues in my pocket because I'm probably gonna cry.
Hey, guess what? He's gonna cry too.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Well, peace. I'm gonna go get ready for that. So I'll talk to you guys later. And go Badgers. We're less than 2 weeks away from Badger season. So
yes, sir.
Yes,
all right. Take care, guys.
Peace out, brother. All right, Mikey. We're going to get this thing rolling here. I'm just getting Tyler's notes up real quick here. All right.
All good.
I don't know why I'm talking like that now, but hey, here we go. Here we go. We're ready to do this thing. So, Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Obviously, we all kind of had some expectations with how things have been going, how they've been trending, I guess I should say. And, going against the number 1 team in the country is always going to be hard, but there's a lot of outside noise going on right now, right? So, when talking about the O-line, I wrote down tough to ask more of them, honestly, with everything going on. There's fire fickle chants. There's fans consistently laughing at them when we should be backing them. I'm going to have something to say about that in a sec. There's injuries all over the place. They've had to, rotate offensive linemen all year long, center, guard, tackle. They've literally flipped the left side to the right side and vice versa. It was insane what they had to do at the beginning of the season. And then going against number 1 team and a team known for defense, they can recruit. And you just got the literal worst possible timing for Ohio State to come in, honestly. Yeah. This is just not good for Badgers, right? Now, I want to touch on fans laughing and consistently talking shit. And I want to say shame on me, first of all, because this is something that we've talked about, and we call ourselves optimistic and realistic, right? Well, we could be optimistic and realistic and not talk shit. And I feel like I've kind of let myself down and gone against something that I've tried to preach over the last couple of years. This is when they need more support. This is when they need us to be like, hey, boys, you got this. We don't have another job except to cheer them on, and support them and, give them a backbone when they need it. So we can give them money. You can quite literally give them money if you want them to be better. Everybody's going to bitch about it. But at the end of the day, it's not college sports anymore. This is now professional sports. When you get paid to play, this is professional sports.
Yep.
And people want to talk all this stuff about, why shouldn't the coaches be held accountable? They can leave whenever they want. They can go do whatever the hell they want. Well, guess what? So can the fucking players now.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Oh, you know where they have ads on the field and on the court and on the jerseys? Oh, pro sports. Guess where they have it now too? Yeah. It is a pro sports league now. And you're going to have to pony up if you want to get some more of those W's. And quite clearly, Wisconsin is not ponying up enough money.
Mhm.
Now, did hear something else that was very interesting. You shared it with Tyler and I. Brad Nortman. Now, I try to avoid ESPN Milwaukee because I feel like they put out some fucking bullshit propaganda. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times I feel like they just talk about stuff to get views, and I cannot stand that, dude.
Mhm.
Now, would I love hundreds of thousands of views every time that we go live? Absolutely. But I'm not going to sit here and spew some fucking bullshit to get that to happen. Okay. But Nortman talked about, and maybe you can elaborate on it a little bit more after I'm done here, but he talked about how Fickle really has no interest in creating relationships with the high schools, keeping Wisconsin kids in state, which I think is a big mistake. I mean, the point that I made to you after you shared that with us was, look at our offensive line. Our offensive line is in shambles, dude. If nothing else, if you're not getting the blue chip guys that you want up front, at the very least, you're going to get depth. Which would be nice, because we talked about it, me and you, before the season. And the one thing that we 100% agreed on was depth was going to be an issue up front. And it has reared its ugly head to the worst of its abilities at this point. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on the Nortman or the offensive line, but you have the floor now, my boy.
Yeah, I'll just go through on the takeaways real quick. It'll be short and sweet.
Yep.
I mean, you literally just talked about it, injuries and whatnot. I mean, the two leading carriers, our ball carriers, were our third and fourth string guys ultimately, right? It was Yak, he had 11 carries, and Gideon Atuka got, I think it was 9 or 10 carries. Dylan Jones is banged up. We know Darion Dupree is banged up. So that's just trickling into the running back room as well. I mean, they both had valiant efforts. They both showed small flashes, I think, throughout the game. Yak, unfortunately, did have a miscue on a catch, tip ball off of his hands. It led to an interception. And you can say, like, that was an okay drive prior to that. But, I mean, we've scored 0 points the last 2 weeks. So who knows what would have happened there. But
dude, they literally haven't been in the red zone for 3 games, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, ultimately, I'm happy those two guys did get looks. It's not like anything, the outcome is going to change regardless. So, the more reps you can get, a guy like Gideon Atuka is a young guy in the system. That's always going to help us, in the future. And, I've advocated for Yak for the longest time. I don't think he's a Badger next year, not necessarily because of what's going on in the locker room, but just because we're going to have, 3 young guys back. Plus, if Amari Latimer stays with the Badgers, I think that's going to be a little bit of writing on the wall too. If he still stays signed with the Badgers, if he stays with the Badgers, that's going to be another talking point we can address later. But those are my quick takeaways. I mean, as far as all that toxicity, right? I mean, it's the fan base is completely toxic. I don't think I've seen it this bad. And you made a great point. We're like the more optimistic group. But I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I mean, I've talked enough stuff, especially to you guys behind the scenes. My thoughts are, and I just feel like, too, Ryan from Locked On Badgers is another good podcast any Badger fans can listen to. He made a good point. I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he mentioned that, once things started to go south a little bit, and it seems like now, especially after these last 2 weeks, people just keep piling on, little tidbits here and there. I'm going to start with the fact that Fickle did get offered. He got asked after the game about NFL scouts coming to practices because apparently one guy during the week that came on the wrong day got denied entry. So basically, there's one day of the week when the Badgers have practices that they don't allow NFL scouts in, right? And the rest of them, and the rest of the days, yeah, by all means, go ahead. Apparently, one NFL scout or somebody who was trying to go evaluate players had a bad experience. And then that trickled through the last game there, and then he basically got roasted about it. But then that was pretty much debunked by, a couple other scouts that have been around their weekly practices. So my point being is, like, when stuff really starts to go south, I feel like I don't want to call Brad Nortman wrong because I said you guys that link, and I think there is some truth to it. I just feel like when stuff really starts to go south, like everyone just keeps piling on, and the optimism is like completely gone. And you know what? I mean, and again, I do fall victim to that a little bit because I think I will admit, I do think there is a lot of things that are wrong. I do think there's a disconnect between, what boosters, what fans, what we're all seeing in comparison to, what maybe actually is going on in the locker room. I mean, when Chris McIntosh came out with that letter this past week, I mean, my first impressions are, buddy, it's not just a money thing. I mean, we can kick this can, down the road for years to come when it comes to money and NIL and all that stuff. But we can't even score a damn touchdown right now. I think some of the problem is part of the product on the field. And I think, any fans that have watched close enough, I mean, obviously us, and, again, with the boosters, the guys that are putting money into it, they can attest to say, hey, I don't think it is just a money issue. The problem was with that, Chris McIntosh in that letter was not holding himself accountable to what's going on.
Yep,
this is your hire. This is your staff that you brought on. Essentially, you're not holding yourself to the fire at all. That is my biggest criticism when it comes to that whole thing. Now, Jacob Renfro gets asked about it this week. Rico Holmley gets asked about it, and they're under the impression like, oh, we're happy he's not leaving. Like now we're like we're juiced and we're ready to go, right? And now that basically brings me to my point of, you brought up the whole in-state recruiting part of it. You brought up, there's like discretion between like high school recruits versus the transfers that are in-house. That just doesn't like add up to me. So I think there's more tea leaves out there. There still needs to be more that we're not seeing right now, right? So It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Sounds like Coach Fickle won't get fired at least after this week. At least before this letter came out from McIntosh, I thought he was going to be gone after the Oregon game because you get a bye week and then you can bring the next guy in to rally the troops, as I said, for 2 weeks. That sounds like that's not going to happen. It sounds like McIntosh is going to invest more into the program and with this staff, although he did not specifically say in his letter that Fickle will be back next year. But apparently he talked to the players in a closed staff meeting, and it made it sound like Fickle was going to be back. But that's going to be a wait and see mode for now. But it seems like there's a big disconnect with the fan base of what we're seeing versus the people up like in the ivory towers, as I heard on a podcast the other day. So it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a lot of, I know that the negativity is just going to continue to grow on this whole thing. And I hope ultimately, obviously we want good things to happen for this program. If Fickle stays around, he's got a lot of work to do. I'm holding Chris McIntosh personally to the fire more than Luke Fickle at this point, based on what he said. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, but time will tell at the end of the day.
So I'm just wondering, I mean, McIntosh is getting paid from the university, obviously. Barry Alvarez came out with comments we covered a couple weeks ago. How much are they paying him to say stuff to back Fickle? I mean, they're literally pulling out all the stops because of all the noise that's happening.
Yeah.
And understandably so, but at the same time, can we get to the goddamn red zone?
Yeah.
Can we if we're losing 56-20, I'm going to be like, all right, the offense moved the ball. They turned the ball over a few times. There's something to build here. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing absolutely nothing and it feels like the other team is taking their foot off the gas midway through the third quarter, it's like, I got nothing to go off of here. I got no positives to talk about. And now I completely understand why Bears fans are pissed off all the time.
There's a difference
between. They've been watching for 30 years.
I tell people this all the time. In my perspective, there's a difference between being competitive and losing in a game,
yes,
versus being completely incompetent and losing after the first and losing the game literally after the first quarter.
Yeah,
like there's no pulse, right? So there's got to be a lot of stuff that needs to be done after this year. Because at this point, like I said, I don't see Fickle getting fired during in season based off of what was said and whatnot. But there needs to be a lot of changes, and it can't just be money. I think something needs to happen on the staff. I don't know if it's just, we were talking about old linemen for the longest time, right? I don't know if that's something with like strength and conditioning that might need to be changed, or obviously schematically something might need to change. I do think there's a problem with development. I'll say that. I'll definitely say that. I don't know. Yeah, if that's going to be a Fickle thing, or those assistants on his end that may need to be held a little more accountable. But I do see we need major changes to come. There's no hope. There needs to be major changes for sure. I know injuries are playing a part of it, but that's not the whole story.
Yeah. So, Yeah, we're gonna have some interesting discussions in the offseason. I'll tell you that. I got some ideas running in my head for some episodes. We'll get there eventually. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna cover passing game for Tyler. He wrote quite literally one sentence.
That's all that needs to be said.
144 total yards, lowest since 1996. I have nothing to say. That is verbatim what he wrote down in his notes that he sent me. That explains it, honestly, perfectly to me. I'll just rip my D-line. I'll do Tyler's linebackers. I'll give you the floor again then for DBs.
Yeah.
So for D-line, I don't have much to say either. I said pretty much a no-show against one of the best offensive lines and offenses in football in the country. If you're going to be competitive against the best teams, you're going to have to create some havoc up front, and obviously that didn't happen. So for Tyler with linebackers, he wrote down Allegro broke his arm in first quarter. So this is really hard to read. It's like real small. Came back, played the rest of the game. Last week said no identity. This could say it's toughness. His toughness was showing. He said, that's his next week's notes. So I'll wait for that. But yeah, you can rip some DB stuff here. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, for sure. Props to Christian Allegro, by the way. I'm glad Tyler brought that up. That was, especially at this point in the program, and you need somebody to take accountability, take that leadership on, and hopefully, this could be a testament to like the younger guys too that see that shit and they're just like, all right, let's this our time will come, right? You know what I mean? You got guys like Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano that are getting legitimate snaps now. Like besides Allegro, Nicholas Clayton's going to be another. We can talk about other freshmen too at some point, but some of those younger guys, I just hope that they see that and they can just, be a Wisconsin Badger basically. Play your ass off, play tough, and stay competitive at the end of the day. So no, I'm glad Tyler called that out. But no, takeaways from the secondary. I mean, Ohio State, man, we knew going in they got NFL wide receivers all over the place. Right in the first possession of the game, Carnell Tate caught one in double coverage for a touchdown on a third and 11. So once you saw that, I was like, oh shit, here we go. That was basically the start of it. But no, I mean, any positives? I thought Emilio Agard actually looked okay, given the circumstances. I mean, he had 6 tackles. He did get a sack there in the second half. That was pretty cool to see.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, there was one takeaway. That's what I would take out of that. I would have loved to see Rico did have multiple opportunities to come down with a couple of interceptions in this game. That's unfortunate, but he's going to get a lot of action going in against Oregon. I can tell you that. Dante Moore will keep him busy, so he's going to get more opportunities to show him his stuff.
All right, so why don't you just go right into your offensive goal versus Oregon?
Yeah, I mean, I kept it pretty simple. We obviously, we got a couple injuries back there, but I mean, ultimately, just find out who's got the hot hand in the running back room this week. Ride with that one guy to start. Whether it's Gideon Atuka, whether it's Yak, is Dylan Jones going to be back this week? But I don't know. You just take this week of practice and you just find out, get a competitive mindset going, find out who's got the hot hand, and duel it out a little bit. Because at this point, I don't want to say we got nothing to lose, but it's pretty much damn near close at this point because we need to get in the end zone. I mean, what's 37 and 34 to 0 the last 2 weeks? What does that add up to?
Like 77?
71 to 0 the last 2 weeks. I don't care who the hell you throw out there. If anyone can go out and make a play, let's go make it happen. So find out who's got the hot hand this week, and let's just go and play ball.
Yeah, agreed. So Tyler's offense, he said, I'd like to give freshman Carter Smith a chance, but not this week versus top 10 team and on the road. Absolutely not.
He's right.
Maybe the week after. I could definitely see that versus a Washington team after you come off a bye, like you mentioned earlier.
I think it will, just to preserve his red shirt too, because we only got 4 games left after that, so it makes sense.
Yep, 100%. So for me, I wrote down O-line. I said you got to try to establish the run. Give quarterbacks opportunity to run some play action, but if you don't establish a run against a number 6 team in their house, you stand no chance. So what's your goal for Badgers defense versus Oregon?
Dude, get an interception. Get some – I mean, I think we're bottom tier in the Big Ten with creating turnovers. And this has been a constant theme the last couple seasons now. We can't create turnovers. Like that's, I mean, I know like obviously we know which side of the ball is worse on this Badger squad this year, but as far as creating turnovers, man, we need to get some playmakers out there that can make stuff happen. I mean, I keep harping on it every single week, but I mean, this has been a common theme the last few seasons with these guys. We can't create turnovers. We got to make that happen. We can't let Dante Moore throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns with not at least one single turnover. Otherwise, it's going to be, some of those games that they played. I mean, they just went to Rutgers last week. 2 Rutgers, 52-10 final. They went to the East Coast, took care of business like nothing. And Rutgers they're better than us. That's what I will say, right? So, I mean, and then they played Oklahoma State earlier this year. They scored 69-3 was the final. So these boys are not going to have a problem dropping that much on us if given the opportunity. They're playing for playoff seeding right now too, right? You get that loss to Indiana. They don't play Ohio State, I don't believe, in the regular season. So they're playing for their playoff seeding lives right now. They need to move up in the ranks to solidify their spot. So they are going to not be sorry for us at all one bit. So we need our guys to come prepared. Otherwise, they're going to get shut out and embarrassed again and probably get scored on by 50.
I mean, just when you think it can't get any worse, right?
Yeah.
So Tyler wrote down, I'd like to see Posa and Curtis play 24 to 25 snaps. No idea if Allegro can play. Cooper Catalano played 36.
Mm-hmm. He was leading tackler last week.
He was.
Yeah.
I saw that. I wrote down get after Dante Moore. He averages about 27, 28 pass attempts and between 6 and 7 rushing attempts a game. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to hit this guy. If you're going to have a chance in this game, or at least to hold him under 40 points, you're going to have to go sick him. And at this point, I do not share the same mindset as you for part of this. I wrote down you're playing with house money right now. So go out there and play with your hair on fire. So, good Lord, I'm so happy that I'm done with Brewers and Badgers football talk, man. I was just like regretting this all day. Like, dude, ugh.
We made it, man. We made it.
Now we're going to talk about some fun stuff here. So we're going to switch to a ranked Wisconsin team. Number 24 ranked, which I thought was a little bit disrespectful in my opinion.
I said 19 or 20. I forget what you guys said. What did you guys say?
I thought they were going to be like number 14, bro.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
I remember they were going to be like mid-teens. Like, if they would have been like 17, I'd have been like, okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little bit worse than my expectation, but it was like 24. I'm like, who the fuck? What the hell? Whatever. And then freaking, dude, don't even get me started on Purdue, ranked number 1. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
but anyways, we're going to go over departures. Do you want to cover – so I'll name all the departures that are written down here. Do you have additions and departures written down?
Yeah. I know we can talk about departures first. And then because that'll be real quick, then we can jump into additions. Yep. Then
all right. I'll cover departures and then, you can give your thoughts on it and then we can cover additions. So departures, obviously John Tonje. We talked about him earlier today. He's going to carve out a nice role for the Utah Jazz. He's going to play a lot. So if you're a basketball fan, you're going to get to watch John Tonje again. Daniel Freitag, sadly.
Yeah.
I think he could have carved out a role on this year's team, but it is what it is. Cam Hunter, Stephen Crowell. I'm a little sad to see him go as well. I enjoyed watching Big Steve, especially this year's team. They could have used a little bit more size. Carter Gilmore, he's starting a career overseas. Love my dog, Carter Gilmore. Xavier Amos, I thought he was interesting. I think he could have been used on this team as well. Chris Hodges, Marcus Ilver, all the potential in the world. Never transpired anything, in my opinion. Max Klesmit, love Bunny Max, dude. He gave us some great moments, especially against Marquette a couple of years ago when he was going absolutely crazy, dude. That was one of my favorite basketball memories over the last couple of years. And then Kamari McGee, the guy that came from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and completely transformed himself into a real Big Ten basketball player, real good backup point guard. So we lost a lot of talent, a lot of guys that led to a lot of wins over the last couple of years. I don't know if you have any thoughts on any of those guys specifically.
No, man. Corner 3 McGee, man. I mean, I can go down the list of like the guys you named and tell you how many times they saved our ass in the game. John Tonje, yes, he's in a completely different, category in itself. Second team All-American. Who saw that coming last year? We thought he was just going to be a role player essentially last year. He comes out. I mean, hey, can we give props to Greg Gard on evaluations, by the way? You mentioned John Tonje. Carter Gilmore. He was a walk-on when he joined Wisconsin. Kamari McGee, Green Bay guy. He was good. His first year at Wisconsin, not really existent. Second year, he starts to play a little bit. Yep. And his last year, he gets 20-plus minutes a game and was crucial in many, many moments for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not spell development right there? I mean, Greg Gard's got quite the track record of developing players, and we're seeing it now with the kinds of guys that he's starting to pick up. Like, Wisconsin's no joke, man. Like, he can develop. He's putting dudes in the league now. He's going to put 2 more in after this season. And, we're gonna have some fun this year. But, no, props to all those guys. I mean, Steven Crowell is definitely going to be missed. I feel like, yes, we gave him a lick last year too, but he also came in clutch for us in many, many moments. Carter Gilmore saved our ass a bunch. Kamari McGee did. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to take over those 2 guys that played 20-plus minutes a game, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing, especially with this bench we got coming in, who's going to fill those roles. But no, props to those guys, and wish nothing but the best for their careers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of guys. I mean, John Tonje, like you said, that guy, dude, I did not expect him to be as smooth of a finisher as he was, dude. And I think his athleticism was taken for granted a couple times until he started getting on some scouting reports, and that's really when he started to shoot the ball a lot. I mean, obviously, we all remember the big game that he had against Arizona early last year. That was a monster game. Daniel Freitag, I am a little bummed about that, but I understand. At the same time, Crowell. Now, we did get on about rebounding, but we will miss some of his playmaking this year. That's going to be a big talking point as we get into this year, especially with the backcourt, the depth that they have back there. You want to talk about player development, man. You look no further than Carter Gilmore, honestly. Dead serious. He became the 6th man for this Badgers team when he had no business. No jump shot. Mm-hmm. He was undersized. He didn't jump out of the gym. He didn't shoot threes, really. I mean, he became a decent shooter last year, and that's really when he had a couple of his big games. But, he really was not extraordinary in one single area. He was just a guy that worked really, really hard. Mm-hmm. And he loved basketball, and you could tell. So I'm going to miss Carter Gilmore a lot. So we're going to talk about some additions here as well. Do you want to cover that? You want to name off the list?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through should we just do one guy at a time? Because we had the 3 guys apiece.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Why don't you name your 3, and then I'll name my, actually, let's do this. I'll name my 3, then I'll let you name your 3, then I'll do Tyler's 3. Work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So additions here, we got a guy named Nick Boyd. So let me introduce you to Nick Boyd. First of all, what did he score? 21 in the red-white game, I believe it was. Yeah. So first thing I wrote down, and I didn't even look at the red and white scrimmage. I said, he has a really nice lefty jumper. And you're going to find that out immediately when you watch this team. They start on November 3rd, by the way, for anybody wondering. Really nice lefty jumper. It's super quick. He can get the shot off for anybody in any situation. He pulls up in transition. He comes off stagger screens, comes off elevator screens. He can shoot it in the corner. He can run a pick and roll and just pull up, 2-3 feet behind the three-point line. He is the new age point guard, a little bit undersized, but he does finish with right and left hand when he gets to the rim as well. Finishing can be a little bit better. He shot 37% from the 3 last year. But his pick and roll game is going to be really vital to this team. So Blackwell's going to be handling the ball a little bit more. Nick Boyd's going to have to take some of that pressure off him. Yep. And that duo, however that's going to work, they're going to be like a tag team like Tonje and Blackwell were last year, just a little bit smaller guy. And Nick Boyd, he's not like miniature. He's like 6'3", like 177 pounds. So he's a little bit smaller than Tonje. Tonje has an NBA body. Obviously, he made the NBA. But Boyd, his way to making the NBA is just being a knockdown shooter. And he needs to get a little bit better at defense. But, being in the Badgers weight room system, I think that'll be beneficial for him. They're going to put a little bit of weight on him, I think, and let him keep his quickness as well. But he had 3 years played at FAU. I believe he was on that FAU team that made a little bit of a run a couple years ago, right?
Final Four, dude. Yeah, he was a part of that. Yeah.
So He has experience in March Madness. He had 1 year at San Diego State last year. They made the tournament, but they got the break speed off him by UNC last year. UNC went on a little bit of a run as well. But he's going to fit in really nice at Wisconsin. I see this as like you're trying on a new pair of socks, and you put the socks on, you're like, oh, yeah, dude, that feels good. Like, nothing feels better than new socks. Maybe I'm showing my age here right now, but put on a nice new pair of socks, you're like, damn. That feels good. I look good. Like Nick Boyd is like a new pair of socks, man. It's gonna be perfect. Another new addition. His name is Will Garlock. Right, this is a big boy, and he might get some playing time just because of the depth that we have or lack thereof in the room. He's an underrated passer. He has really good footwork and body for a freshman. He uses his body really, really well as well. I could see why Wisconsin scouted him so hard, man. His size will be really useful. I do think that he's going to get some PT early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna run him out there against some D1 prospects and see how he handles the speed and stuff. That might be the only thing that he'll struggle with is the smaller, speedy guards, kind of like a Nick Boyd type. The smaller guys that can really get downhill quick. But he's got to learn a little bit of positioning on defense. But outside of that, I think he's actually an underrated passer. This guy might be the next Steven Crowl without the three-point shot right now.
Yeah.
Got to develop the three-point shot, but he uses his feet well. He does have bigger shoulders than Steven Crowl, I will say that. So he uses his body really, really well. I watched about 17 minutes of him doing interviews and highlight film of him just to kind of understand what I was looking at with Garlock. He's going to turn to a really good player in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be another guy that we're going to talk about later. I don't remember who has him. You or Tyler, but they could be a monster duo in my opinion. So then the last guy I have, and this honest to God might be my favorite guy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what I was picking when I picked this guy, but Hayden Jones, dude, Hayden Jones from New Zealand. So he's listed anywhere from 6'5" to 6'7", no matter where, depending on where you're looking. Again, he's from New Zealand, but he's a big guard, dude.
He's a big ass point guard.
He's legitimately a point guard.
Yeah.
They do have him listed as a wing, which in today's basketball, it's kind of positionless anyway. So he can guard multiple positions. He's a really good rebounder, really good playmaker, and he's got a nice polished jump shot. Now, a little bit more consistency with the jump shot. Obviously, the numbers reflect that as well. Will be needed. But I'm really, really interested how they're going to use him in this offense because he could be so versatile. Are they going to force him to become a guy that's a 20-point-per-game scorer? Or are they going to force him to be a guy that's going to be, you're going to score 13, you're going to grab 8 rebounds, and you're going to have 10 assists? Because I really see both worlds as viable options for this guy with how he looks. Now, he's been playing against older men in pro leagues over there in New Zealand.
Yep.
So he comes in as that prototypical, kid from another country who is a little bit more developed. And Greg Gard even said that he's kind of ahead of schedule where other freshmen usually are. I think Hayden Jones is getting some major playing time this year.
Yeah. And just getting like that backup point guard spot. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's right now you're looking at, John Blackwell would maybe fill in and Nick Boyd sits out for a little bit. That's fine or whatever. Yeah. Andrew Rohde can play the point if need be. He did that at Virginia a little bit. But Hayden Jones is the next guy up there for a point guard as far as I'm concerned. Zach Kinziger, I'm going to get into him a little bit. He could maybe at some point. I don't see him as a point, at least not right now. But no, that backup point guard spot, I feel like is definitely, that's something that needs to be, filled, I feel like, especially if John Blackwell's not in the game while Nick Boyd's sitting out. So that's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why don't you just get into your 3 right now, buddy?
Yeah. Can I call it? Yeah, I got to make a point on Nick Boyd, too. A big part of why Nick Boyd was recruited to Wisconsin was his vocal leadership, right? Not just his experience and whatnot. Like, Greg Gard has been harping on that. He's been talking about it for a long time. Nick Boyd brings in that success with this Final Four run with Florida Atlantic, made some big shots in those tournament games as well, a couple buzzer beaters. Obviously, the San Diego State experience, too. March Madness experience. That is something that is incredible to have when you have a starting point guard come in, 3 to 4 years of college experience. He's been to March Madness numerous times, and he's just balling. But his vocal leadership, you hear about it in practice. on a red and white scrimmage, you're watching clips, you're just seeing him talk a little bit. His communication skills, ultimately, that's something I feel like is going to be a huge boost to this team. Like that one alpha male, essentially. You pair him and Blackwell together with like doing that. I think this could be very, very lethal in terms of that with him and Blackwell running the show like that. It's going to be fun to watch, man, for sure. Had to call that out real quick.
Yeah, well, real quick before you get into it, I'm just reading Tyler's notes here because I was trying to get a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
He also wanted to mention that Brad Davison got added to the coaching staff as an
addition. I was gonna say it.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. I'm happy you brought it up.
So he said he gave Krabbenhoff the heads up that Boyd was going to enter the transfer portal in late December, which is honestly insane to me. Guard said that 10 to 12 guys could be in the rotation, and Crab described Janicki like Josh Gosser. So, I mean, that's I love Josh Gosser, dude. Like, seriously, I love Josh Gosser. Like, he's the perfect prototypical Badger when I think about it. He loves the state. He shoots the ball, and he fucking plays hard every goddamn possession. I love Josh Gosser. But anyways, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So, I mean, this first guy I'm going to bring up here, he's a definition of, I think, what Wisconsin wants to get to, right? It's a positionless shooting basketball team, ultimately. So this first guy, his name's Austin Rapp. He's a transfer from Portland University, 6'10" power forward, I guess you could say. This is not like your usual four, especially coming into the Big Ten. He's a floor spacing guy for sure, starting four. He's going to fit like that mold we're trying to get into out in more transition. This is a power forward that shot 83 3-point shots last season. And he shot 35.2% from three as well. As a true freshman, that is absolutely insane. You watch some of these clips, he's not just doing it like stand up three. He's coming off of curls. He's coming off of screens, and he's shooting it from NBA range too, mind you.
Yes,
he's training it right in your face. Like, the film is insane. Like, I've never seen anything like it at his height and his, 6'10", his body frame like that. I've never seen that from a college player. Like, the way he just like comes off the ball, catches and shoots it like that. This is going to be something new that Badger fans have not seen before in terms of his skill set. Like, we've just never seen anything like that before. Yes, we have had 6'11", 6'10" guys that shoot threes. Like Nolan Winters shot plenty of them last year too. But the fact that you're coming off of screens and you're doing like in a catch and shoot scenario like that right away, like typically what guards do, essentially, this guy does it at 6'10". It's going to be something that is worth watching. I think he's the biggest X factor in this starting five, I will say, because he's projected to be, the four.
Yep.
Because if he brings those 83 3-point shots from last year, or even comes close to shooting that, I mean, and you're making 35% of them, like, that's going to be huge, especially for a guy at his size, right? So
he is what I thought Marcus Elver was going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he's a little bit bigger. Yeah, he's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, Elver was what, 6'8"?
Yeah, he was something like that. But no, he averaged his true freshman year, averaged 13.8 points a game, got 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He was a freshman of the year at Portland for the West Coast Conference, so that was cool. The biggest concerns, there are definitely a few concerns. His athleticism is definitely going to be tested in this league, right? Without a doubt. I mean, he's probably going to go against guys both bigger and maybe a little smaller than him at that position. So it's going to be interesting to see how he matches up in that regard. His rebounding definitely needs to improve a little bit too. I know some of the knocks on him were, some of his interior defense and rebounding and whatnot, not giving, too much up, so to speak. So, combining all that, his physicality, obviously that's going to lead into that. His physicality is going to be tested quite a bit too. And also taking care of the ball. He did average 2.6 turnovers a game last season too. So that's something that's going to be worth monitoring quite a bit as well. Hopefully he's matured a little bit over a year from what he's seen. I could see a little bit of a growing pain to start the season, but as the Big Ten season really kicks off and he gets in the thick of things, I think he's going to adjust a little bit. But this is somebody the Batters need to be excited for. This is just another guy that can shoot the three for us. We're going to legit have 5 dudes in that starting five that will have no problem shooting the rock. We're going to shoot and make more threes than last season. Like, I think you can take that to the bank right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll go into player number 2 right away. Wisconsin fans will be familiar with this guy. For anybody who follows high school, his name is Zach Kinzinger. He's a 6'3" shooting guard, 4-star shooting guard out of De Pere, Wisconsin. I had the privilege to watch this kid quite a bit, starting from his sophomore year in high school when his older brother was a senior, and they went 30-0, went down to Madison, literally dominated the hell out of everybody, probably won by 15 to 20 points a game easily. He's a lights out shooter. That's what the first thing you'll see when you watch the film. You do not want to leave him open. Very athletic for his size as well. I guess I should mention he was a Mr. Basketball finalist last season as well at De Pere. He averaged 24.2 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game. Not bad for a kid that size. He was the second leading scorer in De Pere school history behind his older brother, Johnny Kinzinger, who's at Illinois State now. So there's definitely, a lot of good ball being played there. But no, he's extremely, extremely quick. I do call him a slasher too, in some regard as well. He has no problem sticking his nose in to play defense at all. He'll take charges for sure. I pointed this out to you guys, I think last year too, when we first talked about recruiting classes. He's got one of the quickest first steps I've ever seen. When he catches the ball on the wing and he wants to drive past the dude, like it's just lightning quick, and it catches your eye. And I can see why, Greg Gard and company went to go out and get this kid. I did put a player comparison. I'm telling you that right now, between the shooting and his finesse, this dude has Bronson Koenig written all over him, I feel like.
Oh.
I got Bronson Koenig. In terms of playmaking, now in terms of playing like the point guard part of it, that's going to be to be determined. I did watch him. He did bring the ball down a little bit at De Pere. I don't think that's his natural spot, though. I think he's going to be on the wing or off ball to start. But who knows? As the years go on, he's going to be looked up to get like that final shot for us. I think he's going to have that creativity. The shooting for sure is Bronson Koenig. The finesse too, a little bit. I think there's a little Bronson there as well. As far as the point guard spot, that could be a little different. I'm definitely the one thing you do question going into this year. Can he make that rotation? Can he be that 8th or 9th guy if you really want to stretch it, right? Because we've obviously talked about the bench a little bit already, and those spots are going to be filled, man. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can crack that rotation. I would not be surprised if he does, but I'm also not going to be surprised if he, doesn't at least at the start of the year. So, right. But no, there's a lot a lot of positives with this kid for sure. Finally, I got Elijah Gray. He's the last guy we brought in recently a couple months ago. He's a 6'9" senior forward. He's a transfer from Temple. What you like about him? I mean, he's got 3 years of college experience. First 2 years at Fordham University, and last season at Temple. Averaged 20 minutes a game. He got 9 points, 3.8 rebounds per game. 48.1% for field goal percentage. He's going to be the backup 4 or even 5 most likely. I think you take a look at Elijah Gray, you got Will Garlock, and you got Alex Bialuskas as well. Those 3 dudes are basically going to fight out for those 2 backup spots of the 4 and 5, I would say. That's going to be, game by game. You take a guy like Will Garlock, I think against a team like Purdue, for example, he's going to be called upon quite a bit. And then maybe against like those other, like a Michigan State too, because we know like those guys get physical as hell. And you got teams that you're playing against like in Illinois, where I could see somebody like an Elijah Gray or even Bialuskas, who I know that's Tyler's guy. They're a little bit smaller, but also a little bit quicker too. So I could see them being utilized for that. But no, Elijah Gray, he does most of his damage down low. He is going to be one of those guys that's not going to shoot the 3 ball really. He shot 33s last year. So, I mean, there's a little bit there, but I don't think that's going to be his primary shot in comparison to the other rotation that's going to be, a part of this group. So, no, at the end of the day, he's going to be fighting for that big man role, whether that's going to be him or Garlock or Bialuskas off the bench first. But, no, healthy competition is great. I mean, Greg Gard's brought it up. He's going to have a hard time, getting this rotation together. So,
Yeah. So, like Tyler said, he also wrote down that there's 10 to 12 guys can be in the rotation, and I think the bottom of that rotation will kind of depend on matchup as well. That's kind of what I was thinking. Now, here's the funny thing: you said those are Tyler's guys. I'm looking at Tyler's notes. He didn't write anything down about those guys. So, if you want, he didn't write anything about. He got Andrew Rode, Braden Carrington, and Bioluskis. So, if you want to cover those guys, man, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I mean, he didn't.
No, he said it was in his other notebook, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. I'll start with Rhodey then.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, dude, Andrew Rhodey. So any Wisconsin high school basketball fans, if you heard the name before, he was a stud guard at Brookfield Central High School. He played at the state tournament as well. I think he made the semifinal, I want to say off the top of my head. I knew the Badgers were looking at him for a little bit, but they didn't end up offering him. And this dude's got as much experience as you could ask for, in college basketball. He goes and dominates at St. Thomas for a year, absolutely tears it up. Then the Badgers tried to get him a first time. It didn't work out. So then he went to go play at Virginia for the last 2 seasons. Yep. This guy can play. This guy plays what, the 1, the 2, or the 3, or I should say he's mainly probably the 2 or the 3 guard. But if you asked him to, but at Virginia last year, he did end up bringing the ball down quite a bit. So maybe at some point during the season, depending if there's foul trouble or anything like that, I could see him in some standpoint to bring the ball down a little bit. Yep. It would not shock me one bit. Again, three years of college experience. That's what I absolutely love about this starting lineup. The amount of experience that we have with this group, I think that's going to go such a long way, especially when you're getting into those Big Ten games. We play BYU this year. That's going to be big time for that. We get Villanova comes to town as well. Obviously, yep. Marquette game. But no, Andrew Rhodey's one hell of a pickup. Wisconsin was after him for 2 years, basically. And definitely another X factor. I know I said Austin Rapp because of what the kind of shooting that he can get. But no, Andrew Rhodey fits that as well. He's notorious for corner 3-point shots as well. He's going to put up a bunch of those, I feel like, especially with a team like Wisconsin, who's going to be, positionless shooting, and we're going to be out in transition a whole lot more.
Yeah. So let me just jump in, because I actually read a comment that somebody wrote about Andrew Rhodey. They said he went to St. Thomas to work on the offense. He went to Virginia to work on the defense. He comes to Wisconsin as a complete basketball player. And I'm like, well, hey, as long as we're getting the finished product, I don't give a shit, honestly.
Dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, no question.
Yeah.
What was this? Okay. What was the next one?
Braden Carrington.
Okay, yeah, Braden Carrington. I gotta pull up his stats. If you want to do that real quick, I'll talk about him for a little bit. This is going to be another. Yeah, this is going to be another shooting guard. This guy's got 3 years of college experience. Again, kudos to Greg Gard. Again, consistently bringing in these guys that have multiple years of experience. He started off in Minnesota, and Wisconsin was recruiting. I didn't know this until we brought him on, but Wisconsin did recruit him for a bit before he went to Minnesota. And then he was at, I believe, last 2 years, he was at Tulsa. And I forget what, I'll let you bring up the stats on him, Jake. But this is going to be the backup shoot between him and Jack Janicki. These are going to be the first 2 guys, off the bench, getting those minutes. So obviously you got Janicki, who's got the experience from last year. And then you got a guy who's a seasoned vet who's got 3 years of college experience and legitimate ball. So he's got a Big Ten experience as well. And then, the last 2 years at Tulsa. But yeah, Jake, you got those stats in front of you with him? I just got
Yeah. So I just typed it into Google, and then they have all this AI stuff, so they give you all this extra shit, man. So
all good.
So he's a 6'4" guard from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. In 2022 as a 23 as a freshman in Minnesota, he appeared in 22 games, averaged 5.9 points, 3.6 rebounds. In 24 as a sophomore, played in 29 games. He averaged 4.6 points, 3.2 rebounds, played 21 minutes a game. So he's getting some Big Ten experience. So he understands how the Big Ten works. That's a good thing. 24-25, junior at Tulsa. He played in 29 games, 19 starts. We started 19 to 29 games last year. That's good. He averaged 7.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, 1.7 assists. For his shooting / usage for Tulsa, he shot 35% from the field, 33% from 3. He's known as defensive first wing guard with experience in the Big Ten, which is a plus for Wisconsin. Brings maturity and experience. So, I mean, that's a good thing. And he rebounds well for a guard, near almost 5 rebounds a game. So, honestly, when I think of this, I think of McGee. Honestly, guy who came in with some poor numbers from the 3-point line, from the field, known as a defensive first guy. Obviously, McGee didn't come in with Big Ten experience, so that's already a plus. Comes in with some Big Ten experience. If he was redshirted, he would have 2 more years left in college. So if he's a guy that can come in and become a stopper, we got 2 games against Purdue this year, and they got a pretty good point guard. So you got 5 fouls, man. If he's one of those guys, a defensive guy, and you get 5 fouls, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, and then I'll touch base real quick on Alexis Bialuskis. God, that's going to be hard to pronounce. I feel bad for the announcer calling those games.
He's got to call him AB at this point, dude.
Yeah, for sure. No, Alexis Bialuskis, he's a 6'10", considered freshman from Lithuania. I'm pretty sure he's like 20 years old though, or might be 21 already. He came over from Lithuania. In case fans haven't picked up on it yet, there's a big emphasis now in regards to recruiting, at high school versus players overseas. That was definitely, it's not just Wisconsin, but I will say that this kid, as well as Hayden Jones and another kid that I'm going to talk about, that's definitely the Kirk Penny effect. We're definitely going to miss him in that regard, regarding, getting these kids to come play overseas. But no, Bialuskis, he's a 6'10" forward, about 235 pounds. This is a guy he's bringing more experience. He's bringing experience to the table. He played in these World Cup games, against, New Zealand, China, brings a whole lot of that to the tables. And he brings a lot of physicality with that, right? Because you're playing these older dudes that are like 24, 25 years old. So I think he's going to be blended real well, especially when we get into Big Ten play, when we have to get physical with those guys, which is why I could see a kid like him being number 1 or 2 off the bench against those teams like a Michigan State or a Purdue. If like Nolan Winter gets in foul trouble, Austin Rapp gets in foul trouble, or Austin Rapp just can't match up because of he's not there physically. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, see what he can bring. Coach Gard definitely talks about him in terms of, working with the big men as well in practice. So, it's, again, I brought it up. It's going to be an interesting rotation between those backup bigs, between Elijah Gray, Will Garlock, and Bialuskis, because 2 of the 3 bring that experience. But Will Garlock, he's the biggest out of the 3. Uh-huh. And, we'll see what he can do, because he's been performing in practice. Coach Krabenhoff's been talking about him quite a bit, and Coach Gard as well. So I'm very, very interested to see how that rotation, turns out to be. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I just looked up some things on him, and okay, first of all, this is my first thought. So I see a photo of him. Why the hell does everybody from Lithuania look like they're good at fighting? They just look like they're good at bar fights, bro. Like, dead ass. He's looking at me, and I'm like, I don't want to fight that guy. He looks like he wants to rip my face off. Also, he's listed at 6'9", so I don't want to fight somebody that's 6'9". I'm 6'4", 6'5" on a good day. He's definitely got me in reach, and I don't get to say that too often around here. But he played for the top Lithuanian club, development Lithuanian club over there. Here it's 12 points, 6.8 rebounds, and he shot 39% from 3, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for calling that out.
He's going to be fun. Yeah, that just made me more excited for the Badgers, honestly. That's all that did was looking them up. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the schedule a little bit. We don't have to go through all 30 games, but if you can give me, in my opinion, I went through like 5 games that I think are going to shape the season. Give me your 5 games, or if you have like a tough stretch that you think is going to be tough, what do you got, man?
You got to start off with BYU, right? That I think that's the first call. BYU is projected to have the number 1 draft pick, I believe, for the following year. They're a top 7 or 8. I think they're ranked 7th or 8th to start the year. 8th, yeah. Badger fans know what happened last season. So that's going to be a tough game, playing in Salt Lake City at where the Jazz play. It's a road game. It is ultimately a true road game.
Neutral site.
Yeah. So that's a true road game for sure. But we're going to get thrown into the fire there. So that's a first call out. And then, number 2, it's literally the next week, right? So you got that holiday tournament out in San Diego. Providence, I mean, yeah, that's who we get first. But, I mean, the Badgers might have the opportunity to play the defending national champions that next game against Florida. So that's why I wanted to bring that stretch up a little bit too.
Yep.
I hope we get the opportunity. It's going to be there. Being on a neutral court, anything can happen. I think with this group, I mean, shit. I picked a good record. Let's put it that way. There's not going to be – I don't think we're going to be out shot in the gym or anything like that against anybody we really play for the most part this year. But the opportunity to play, hopefully, Florida in that holiday tournament, I think is definitely another big call-out. Number 3, just going down – do I want to say Mark? I guess
Marquette's always a big game. I was going to bring it up too. That means something to true Badgers. It really does.
I'm just going to go into conference because Nova's big enough. But no, I mean Purdue, the first Big Ten home game, January 3rd. That's Saturday night game. I saw some of the times that came out. It's going to be a Saturday night game at the Kohl Center. Now it's unfortunate. It's January 3rd. The kids are going to be on break. So that sucks. That really, really does suck. But still, the Kohl Center is going to be bumping still.
Wisco Fanatics should go. That's all I'm saying. Wisco Fanatics should go. We'll make plenty of noise.
Bro.
Plenty of noise.
Let's do it. And I guess, going down, let's see. At Michigan is actually going to be big too because they got their transfer, Yaxel. I forget how you pronounce his last name. They got a lot of hype on that squad this year. I think they're projected to be 2nd or 3rd in the Big Ten.
They're number
big
7
transfer.
right now.
Yeah, big transfer from UAB. I know he tested the NBA Combine, I believe, before committing to Michigan. So I know that's going to be big. What I got one more. So it's going to definitely be in that final stretch. So the Badgers got 6 out of the last 9 games on the road. That's definitely a big call on this thing. So I guess if I had to point one game, I'm going to call it out in that stretch. I'm looking at how we do. I don't want to say Purdue again. I'm going to see how we do on that West Coast trip. So we got at Oregon, who's expected to bring back a whole bunch. I think they were projected ahead of Wisconsin in the Big Ten. So I'm looking to shut them up a little bit. Then at Washington's going to be a little bit better too. But I'm more so curious on how we do on that road trip coming after that Iowa game at home. How do we get that 2-game stretch out on the West Coast? So we'll go with that.
All right, I won't lie. I cheated. I cheated myself because I wrote down that the month of February is insane.
Yeah.
We go at Indiana, at Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois is ranked right now. Illinois is going to be really good again.
Yeah.
Indiana, they're making a bunch of money with the football team, so they're gonna they're throwing enough money at the basketball team.
Yeah.
So you got back-to-back road games there. That's tough. Big Ten road games are tough in general. Then you got home against Michigan State. That's always a physical game. And Michigan State and Wisconsin basketball, they hate each other. There's a lot of respect, but they hate each other.
Yeah.
They won't say it a lot, but they do. Then you got Ohio State at Ohio State. Ohio State's going to be a little bit better than they were last year, I think. I think they're one of those like sneaky good teams in basketball.
Yeah.
Where, like they can beat you anytime. I feel that way about Penn State too, but then you got Iowa, Wisconsin. Don't need to say anything about that. They hate each other as well. And then, like you said, you brought up the West Coast road trip. That is tough, dude. Yeah. After all that gauntlet, 2, 3, 4, 5 road games in that month. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. Ending on the West Coast road trip. Now, the first thing that I wrote down is the season technically starts on the 3rd, but it really starts on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get my lick back. Okay. Yeah. Back-to-back times we're going to play BYU, and they're at neutral site.
Yeah, neutral.
Literal back-to-back games versus BYU, March Madness rematch, neutral site. Get the fuck out of here. They got to come to us next year for a neutral site game. So I'm excited about. Right, it's next year, or is it?
Yep. It'll be. I think it's in Milwaukee.
At the Forum. So neutral site. Yeah. But I didn't write down the Providence game. It's a good call out. I did write that I would like to get a lick back versus Providence as well because they whooped up on us last time we went to go play them. This one's not at their house.
Yeah, dude.
Don't worry. I didn't forget that game. That game is etched in my memory for some goddamn reason. I wrote down that Wisconsin versus Marquette is always a big-time game, especially for me. I like beating Marquette.
I love it.
I think Marquette thinks higher of themselves than they really are, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
You're
I like picking them around a little bit. This one is in Madison, so I'm going to enjoy that one a lot. Then I try to take one from really every month. I know I cheated with February, but going to January, there was really nothing to take away except the Michigan game. The Michigan game is going to be really big. We got 2 games versus Minnesota in that month as well. We got to go to the barn. I cannot stand that they call it that, dude. Oh my God. That is like gag me, dude. Honestly. And then 2 games in March, Maryland and Purdue. The Purdue game will be big to set the stage for the Big Ten tournament. But, other than that, it's going to be that's kind of a tough schedule, honestly, the way that they laid it out for us.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to get into some record predictions. So why don't we get into some record predictions? Why don't you start us off, Mikey? What do you have your record prediction from the head?
Even from the head, I am biased as hell. So going into this year, it ultimately is going to come down to our transition D. I put that number 1 basically, and I wrote transition D because with how many 3-pointers this team is going to shoot, there's going to be some bad misses, right? At some point. How are we going to respond on the defensive end when that happens? I think that's going to be a big, big point of emphasis with this team, and it's going to determine a lot of how we do. And I think I wrote down number 2, interior defense and rebounding. I think that's a given, especially with this team. You got a guy like Nolan Winter who, he's got plenty of experience. He did put on 10 to 15 pounds of weight in the offseason, but being that true 5, huge question mark, I think, going into this year. I do have a lot of expectations for him, as I know all 3 of us do. I think it could be a potential breakout year for him. I think as it should. My goal for him, I think he should get in the lottery after this season. But I think that collectively that interior defense is going to be I think that's actually the biggest question mark with this group, because if you're pairing him with a guy like Austin Rapp, who I know for a fact that might have a hard time with the whole physicality part of things, that's going to be some question marks going into this season. That being said, from my head, I got the Badgers going 25-6, 15-5 in the Big Ten.
25-6, 15-10. You said Big Ten?
15-5. 15-5.
Oh, 15-5. Sorry. I heard 10 a bunch of times. So, all right. So, I forgot that I like to write down everybody's. So, Tyler, I swear to God, I didn't read Tyler's notes before this. Tyler said, on we got a comment here that I got to read. I'm sorry. Justin said, "What's up? What's up, Justin?" So Tyler sent these to me as we were doing the show. Mm-hmm. So obviously I do my notes before the show. So this is crazy that we have literally the exact same freaking record predictions, but from the head, we both have 23-7. Okay. Now I know you have 31 games. You're expecting to go play Florida.
Yeah, that's where that 31 game.
Yep. Yeah. That's completely fine. I just did the 30 that were on the schedule. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to win that one. I think they're going to win that one, but hey, 25-6, 23-7. I'd be happy with either of those. What is your record prediction from the heart?
With the amount of experience that we have in this team, like crazy amount of experience. I think it's even more than last year, and that's saying something because we get guys like Stephen Crow, Max Klesman, Kamari McGee. Yep. The talent, I just think, as a group this year is better. And I think you could honestly argue it might be as good as the 2015 team, if not close, in terms of pure talent. That's I'm just saying. I'm just saying right now. That being said, I got us going 27-4, 17-3 in the Big Ten.
27-4, 17-3.
Both of those. I will say I do have us losing to BYU in both of those scenarios. That's that's what I will say. Yeah,
that's gonna be a tough game. I won't lie. I have them at 25-5. Tyler also has them at 25-5. The swing games for me is BYU. I think if the Badgers go into BYU and beat BYU, and I'm strictly going off the potential of the shooting, honestly. And I feel like that was kind of the lack thereof in the last matchup, where it kind of felt like only Tanjay was really shooting.
Didn't get our shit together until the last 3 minutes of the game. Yeah.
So if they can come out, they can shoot the damn ball. They could beat that game, and then I have Michigan. That's the other loss that I have on the 23-7. But Tyler also has 25-5. So now the best part of every primer, the best part, bar none, no arguments are going to be had here. We're going to get into some bold predictions. I'll run Tyler's first, and then I'll let you go, then I'll go. Sound good?
All right, cool.
All right. So Tyler's first one is John Blackwell ends up as a first-round pick.
Okay.
Okay. What's your first one, Mikey?
Since it's I'll just say it because it's John Blackwell related. I got John Blackwell gets first or second team All-America.
Ooh, that's a little bit better than mine. I also have a John Blackwell one.
Just to go off of this, we kind of touched base on it. The fact that he's going to be playing more off ball going into this year, I think Nick Boyd is going to open up another part of his game that we haven't even seen yet. Maybe we saw a little bit his freshman year. Yeah. But I just think because he's got 2 years in the system, right? He's on year 3. He's going to grow up and play big boy multiple times for us. I think playing more off ball, Nick Boyd's going to set him up for success, and he's just going to open up a whole can of worms that no one else has seen before. So I think he's going to project. That's why I think he's going to project to be, him.
All right, I like it. So I see Tyler has one for Nolan Winter for his second one. So I'll read my John Blackwell and Nolan Winter one combined. Again, I cheated. I don't care. I have John Blackwell and Nolan Winter make Big Ten first team and secure a number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament.
There we go. I like that.
You like that? Let's go. All right. So Tyler's second one is Nolan Winter averages 17 and 10.
Okay.
If he averages 17 and 10, they're going to be number 1 seed, bro. Like dead ass.
Mine's interesting. It is a Nolan Winter related. So I have Nolan Winter will be top 3 in all the Big Ten with total rebounds.
Ooh, dude. Wow. That would be an insane quantum leap for his physicality, honestly.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. But that's why it's bold predictions, right?
Hell yeah, dude. So my next one, I have Hayden Jones plays big minutes early and is a starter by the end of the year. He's a perfect fit for the Big Ten, big physical guard, can guard multiple positions. If he plays mistake-free basketball up to that Iowa game, I think that he's a starter for the rest of the season.
You were right about bold. I like it, though. I bet he plays. I know he's going to play.
I should have saved that one for last because that was my most bold one, but you'll like my next one too. But Tyler's last one is Nick Boyd and Jack Janicki battle for third leading scorer.
Okay.
Third leading scorer. I think Nick Boyd is going to be either first or second. He shoots a lot of threes.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, he's basically – Badger fans remember who Trayvon Jackson was. I think Nick Boyd is Trayvon Jackson – I hate to downgrade Trayvon Jackson, but this is Trayvon Jackson times 10. Why do I say that? He wants the ball in, game time situations. He wants the ball when there's 5 seconds left on the clock. Trayvon Jackson made a living off of that. With game-winning shots and whatnot. Trayvon Jackson was also the one guy out of that whole team that wanted to push the ball himself. He wanted to go. He didn't necessarily, I don't want to say fit the Bo Ryan system, but he was the one guy out of everybody there that just wanted to push and go.
Yep.
And I think there's similarities there with Nick Boyd and him. So, that's how. And he wants to get to the free throw line. They both good at shooting free throws as well. So that's another one.
I feel like he's that with John Tonje efficiency.
Okay.
Jackson with Tonje efficiency. That's kind of the correlation I make. Both lefties, like you said, he likes to take the last shot. He likes to push the pace. Tonje liked to push the pace too, but Tonje could score and efficiently. And that's what I see with Boyd as well.
Yep.
Give me your last one.
All right. The Badgers will have at least 3 players listed on the first and second all-conference team. So combination. So between first and second all Big Ten, Badgers are going to have 3 players on there. I'm not even going to list them. There might be that third. It could be Austin Rapp as a third. It could be Andrew Rohde as a third. It could be Nick Boyd. I'm going to say John Blackwell and Nolan Winter. Okay, that's 2.
Yeah.
There's going to be a third that rises to the top. I think smart money, I'd say Nick Boyd, but I would not shock me if a guy like Andrew Rohde or an Austin Rapp, who is my X factor in this whole thing, just fucking goes off. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, that's
right. Here's the last one. At some point in the season, the Badgers will be the number 1 ranked team in college basketball.
Damn. Dude. The last time we were ranked number 1 in the country, actually, we lost our next game. I remember that.
Dude.
I remember that yesterday, man.
Dude, I just need to see a number 1 next to a Wisconsin, team Obviously shout out to volleyball and the women's, hockey team for winning the title last year. That's great. I don't mean no disrespect when I say this, but like, I don't indulge in those two sports very much.
Right.
I'm a football, basketball guy. If the men's basketball team gets ranked number 1, I'm going to lose my goddamn shit. I'm literally figuratively going to lose my shit. Like, oh my God, we are the best. Do not talk to me right now. We are number 1. It's going to be awesome. But we do have a number 1 team in the NFL right now. Number 1 in the NFC. So we got that going for us. The Bucs start tonight. Tyler's on his way there. He should be there pretty soon. He's going to post a really sick video, the Middleton tribute video. If you're going to the game, please be loud. Please be safe. Please be smart. And if you boo Chris Middleton, we are all going to collectively boo you twice as hard. So don't do that. Chris Middleton meant a lot. We don't win a championship without him. That was fun. I don't know if you like winning championships. That was fun for me. But with that being said, just like to say thank you to everybody for joining. Mike, you were awesome today. Thanks for carrying the load, man. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh.
And we get ready for Bucs basketball tonight. Badgers start November 3rd, and we got Packers this weekend. So on Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, buddy.
Peace out.
All right.